I'm going to be unveiling and uncovering all the truths about the Northport real estate market here in August of 2025. We are going to be taking a look at the data from last month so that you guys get an actual full picture of what the real estate market is currently looking like, so that you guys have the most up to date information. And this is not going to be your typical average market report. We're actually going to be going deep into depth about, obviously, we're going to talk about the days on market, the median sales prices, the changes we've been seeing in this area, but we're also going to be looking at the market as a whole. We're going to be taking a look at the opportunities for all of buyers, all of the sellers, and all of the investors that are looking to get into the Northport real estate market here in 2025. And then we're also going to be looking at a little bit more of a minute minority group of people that are looking at building new construction and kind of exposing, is new construction now going to be cheaper than residential pre-existing houses right now, or what exactly is going on currently in the market? And as a custom home builder and as a real estate broker, I am able to provide you all the different knowledge in all the different facets of all the asset classes here in Northport. So I'm really excited to kind of break down the landscape here of what Northport's looking like, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there. There's a lot of people bad mouthing Northport. Some of it's true, and some of it's honestly a little bit of a stretch. Doesn't matter if you're watching whatever news channels you're watching, CNN, Fox News, ABC, NBC, it doesn't really matter, right? What it really comes down to is you need your local eyes on the pulse here, about the market, and not some national media outlet channel. And that's ultimately what our YouTube channel is here, is to provide you actual, real, factual data that you're not going to see on the news, or you're not going to see from the fear mongers on YouTube. So let's first break down and let's see what the numbers tell you as a story. So right now, our median sales price, as you guys have seen, I mean, really all of Florida in general, right? And you guys will see all my other market reports, but the median sales price has gone down just a little over 8% year over year, which is creating a lot of different buyer opportunities. So right now, our median sales price in Northport is sitting at about 417,000, really $415,000 total, in my opinion, is what we're seeing. And this is a great opportunity for people that are looking to buy. I was just out touring some houses this morning with some clients, and they were in, the mid 300 ranges. And we were looking at, almost 2,000 square foot houses, 4 beds, 2 baths, or 3 beds, 2 baths plus an office, 4 beds, 3 baths. And they were really new, nice new construction houses, all under 400,000, right? So they had a 350 budget. We were looking at 375, 350, 325, 390, just to see what's out there so that we can kind of see what exactly we're working with in the numbers. And when you guys look at this as the market snapshot, right? You guys obviously are watching this channel because you guys have come across our YouTube channel for building new construction. And you guys know that our building prices are significantly cheaper than the prices that are actually being sold. So just like the median sales price, the price per square foot has decreased 7.5%, which doesn't seem like a huge drop. But if we're actually looking at this, I think last year the average sales price, not last year, but during the pandemic, was like 230, 235, 240, $240 a square foot. So seeing it below 200 is absolutely crazy, because if you guys are looking at building a custom house, right? A custom house is going to be over $200 a square foot for a full custom house. But yet a spec house, like we have an express series for our company, to where we're building at $175 a square foot, $155 a square foot. It really is just depending on the floor plan, the materials, and the subcontractors at the end of the day. So when you're looking at it, I can get you a new construction house a little bit cheaper than this, but yet this is actually a really affordable price per square foot compared to going into areas like Venice, Sarasota. Obviously, Inglewood and Northport are going to be very similar in price, but yet nonetheless it's still going down. The price per square foot still gone down year over year. Days on market, not a shocker, is actually up 7 days from last year, which once again, it's giving buyers more of that opportunity for leverage, for lowballing, not lowballing, but just getting a good deal, and maybe figuring out what can we get as incentives from the seller, whether that's a rate buy down, some credits, whatever that may be. We're able to get a lot of leverage for the buyers. And right now, the interest rate is sitting at about 6.57. Now, once again, this just depends on really finances and everything, but the monthly average currently right now is around that. It could be higher, could be lower. I've seen it all in different ranges, which it is at a 10-month low. So it's great for people. And we've actually seen a huge increase in buyers in the last 2 weeks just because of that. So, we are reaching some of the highest inventory levels because we also went from the highest rapid appreciating environment to now a more balanced, buyer focused market. So that is something really to note, is that our inventory level is one of the highest in, I believe, like 5 years, give or take, which I think that's like almost like, as you see down here, it's about 17% higher year over year in terms of our inventory. So I want to take a look at what are we really experiencing here, of what are some savings compared to the different aspects of Sarasota County, because if you guys know, Northport is the southernmost city, one of the southernmost cities, southeasternmost city here in Sarasota, and we are actually seeing Northport is seeing one of the largest price drops in the entire county. Now we have Inglewood, which is actually south, in even further south, but it's more in the southwest corner, just because of how north Sarasota kind of jogs down Sarasota County. So we saw an annual drop of about 10% from April to April of this year, which in my, you know, based on what I've seen houses go, depending on if the seller was realistic or not. I've seen house prices decrease by $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 I've seen. And this is not on $1 million house. This is on like a $500,000, $600,000 house where I've seen $80,000 price cuts. Now, obviously, at $400,000, it's a little bit tricky to do price cuts. But if you are well within the range of where you should be price per square foot wise selling, there's no reason why you would need to do a price drop as a seller. But this is great for buyers because, as you guys saw, the average days on market is 72 days, which means sellers get a little bit more tired of having their property on the market. They're tired of having showings. They're tired of maybe not even having showings at all. So you come in with a very fair but yet low offer to get that accepted. And that's how I've been able to get clients 50, 60, $70,000 off of purchase prices of, $550,000, 475, somewhere in that ballpark, just because the sellers do need a sell. So when we're looking at this, Northport has seen a 10% drop year over year, while Sarasota County as a whole has only seen just under a 6% drop year over year. And we are still seeing some continuous growth. We are seeing one of the largest, Sarasota County's always been has had some of the largest growth in all of the state. So in most Florida markets, we have gone down, right? So in all honesty, yes, the Florida market has gone down, Sarasota market has gone down, but yet we're still building houses, condos, everything. And in fact, if you guys watched our Sarasota market update, you have seen that the price per square foot has increased. The average price per square foot has increased just because of all the newer buildings that have been going on. So obviously, you guys saw in the other slide is that we are sitting at about 72 days, while Sarasota County is sitting at about 78 days on average, which is, once again, Sarasota County, it's up 12 days year over year, which is huge. I mean, we're almost sitting at 3 months on average of days on market, 2.5 months right now, which is crazy. And now we have a sale to list price ratio of 97.4%, which is just minimalistically down from last year. Sarasota County, if you guys saw that, was 93. I think it was like 93.7%. So if your house is for sale at $100,000 on average, buyers are picking it up at about $97,400, if that makes sense. So if your average sales price is about $400,000, you're getting $12,000 off, or 369, 12, yeah, $12,000 off roughly, of that ballpark price. Now, the thing is that we have our typical spec houses, which everyone does not a lot of people don't understand, is you have spec houses that have minimal finishes that are built economically. They're basically the express series of every builder. and they're priced to sell at a good price. But then you also have these semi-custom houses, not full custom, but semi-custom houses that give it, builders are spending that extra $20,000, but yet they're able to net a little bit higher of a price just because they are putting in these finishes that are setting themselves apart from the market. And those are the houses that are selling at a premium. Now, those are the houses that are still selling at 230, 250, 265, $265 a square foot, and that accumulates to about 13.5% of all the houses that are actually being sold over asking. Now, that also includes some of the other houses that you guys have seen that have been posted on the internet or on the MLS for a super low price just so that they can get multiple offers. And technically, that is bidding over ask as well. So if we look at this, we have some of the highest inventory currently on the market in all in at obviously as we're standing right now. I don't know why this bar chart is acting up, but if this gives you a little bit of a perspective of the last 5 years, obviously this one on this bar on the far right is going to act as our 2025. The other one on the far left is our 2020. As you guys can see, our inventory continues to climb over the last 5 years as we are coming out of the pandemic. And you guys can obviously see with there's more inventory, when the inventory surges, you have a lot of buyer opportunities. Now, if you're a seller and you have to sell, this is why it comes in clutch when you need to sell at a strategic price. So if we look at affordability, mortgage rates, stuff like that, obviously I'm not a mortgage lender, so this is just hypotheticals. We're just talking about what is going on here in the market. So on average, mortgage rates are sitting at about 6.57, give or take a little bit. And this is a 30-year fix. So this is down from May, which peaked at just a little over 7%, which was actually super high for a lot of people. And so obviously the buying was not there. People weren't buying as many houses in May or in the springtime as what we once would anticipate. So just by the cost savings of, being down a half a percentage point since May, people are saving on average about $121 on their mortgage bill every single year or every single month, which accumulates to about, with interest, everything like that, a lifetime savings over a 30-year loan that is sitting at about almost a $44,000 savings over a lifetime of the loan, which is significant, especially when you're paying for interest and all that stuff, right? So we're expecting a rate cut come in September, which is actually just right around the corner if you think about it. We are almost in mid of August. So this could create a lot more favorable conditions for you buyers that have been on the sidelines. So looking at it from a buyer's perspective, what are the advantages of the buyers, right? So we got to take a look at this as a whole. You want to basically the buyer's choices are unlimited at this point. So whether you're looking for a 4-bed, 3-bed, 2-bed, 5-bedroom house, you are going to have a lot of choices well within your price ranges just because there is a lot of inventory. We're sitting at an all-time high inventory right now. But this is giving you guys the ultimate choice instead of back in the pandemic days where you were like, hey, oh my gosh, this house for 400,000 popped up. I don't even know it's a 3-2, but whatever. I wanted a 4-2, but this is all I can get, and let's bid $50,000 over ask. We are actually past that point, as you guys all know, as you guys have all seen probably in the news, which that is actually the truth. Is there's a lot more choices, and this is why I like it for buyers. Now sellers, it is unfortunate, sellers are not put into the same situation, but they were in that situation come the pandemic years. And right now you only sell if you have to sell. You don't sell because you want to sell. It's you have to you are selling because you have to sell, because you're not going to, if you bought a couple years ago, you're probably gonna either take a cut or you're going to break even on the house. Just depends on what you acquired the property at. I have 3 listings right now that are people are going through the same situation, but they're moving for jobs. So they have to move, and it's not a want to move. So the other great thing is you have negotiating power. You are able to negotiate credits, buy downs, concessions, anything that's like repairs. If you walk through a house and you have a 10-day inspection, and on day 9 you come in with the inspection report and say, hey, I need this all fixed. It's going to accumulate to about $10,000 in repairs or whatever it may be. Sellers are going to be very willing to negotiate with you on that just because they know they're not going to be getting a better offer most likely if you're coming in close to asking price. So that is why I really love this market for buyers. And the great thing is obviously sellers that have to sell, they will offer seller concessions and maybe contribute to closing costs, credits, buy down of the rate, a 2-1 buy down, 3-1 buy down, whatever that may be. and they're doing this because they need the house sold. And not only that, it's a different change from the spring market. Obviously, you guys saw the spring market sitting at even mid sevens in terms of interest rate. Now we're sitting at just almost a percent lower than what we were in May, which is fantastic. It's kind of getting that buyer pool back up and everything. And then like we alluded to, people aren't really going over asking on houses or even coming in at list price. Now, obviously, if it's a fair price house, and that's where things get a little bit tricky. Of you have to take a look like, oh my gosh, this is actually a fair price house, or maybe it's below average, just because the seller wants to sell. And you really got to get that. You got to get that opinion from the agent before you write up an offer, because that's going to make a huge difference. Coming from a listing agent myself, and when I'm working with buyers, I always go through and ask the listing agent, hey, what's your thoughts on the price? Try to figure out where they sit at, whether or not the seller is, willing to negotiate. That's the huge thing right now. So, what are we seeing for some seller strategies? Now, obviously, if you guys are watching this, you guys are either buyers or sellers in this market. So we're going to go through both of it today in this video. So the huge thing is that we can't be poking or pushing the envelope of, hey, my neighbor's house sold for $600,000 back in 2021. I want to get $600,000. That realistically is not going to happen. Realistically, you're getting at, 520, $530,000. And that's just the reality of where the market has gone since the peak of the pandemic. So pricing your house strategically is key, because in this market we're not getting many showings. So in Northport, I get quite a few showings on my properties when they're priced right. Because when they're not priced, I literally will get maybe one showing every 2 weeks, which that doesn't do any good for you. We don't get any traction in the open houses, and there's a lot of things that we're missing when we're priced a little high, because there is thousands of houses on the market that are competition for you guys. So that is key, and this is why we do a market analysis for you when we sit down and actually work with you on getting your house show ready, figuring out the list price, figuring out our marketing materials. That's why I have a big following on social media, was so I could promote all of my listings on there to get them to the most amount of eyes, especially in the East Coast and the Midwest, where all the buyers are coming from right now. And of course, first look is everything. First impression is everything. We want to, like my team, we do, 3D Matterport walkthroughs, the highest end professional videography and photography that you possibly can get in all of Sarasota County. And I know that for a fact, because everyone comes up to me for my listings and they are amazed by my photographers, basically the photography of them, and how well they turned out. So whether it's a $250,000 house or a $2.5 million house, my photographer covers it, and that's why I cover the cost for everything, because I use the same photographer for a $2.5 million house that I use for a $250,000 house. That's just me. That's how I like to do it. That's how I set my apart from all of these other agents that are trying to sell their properties, and of course my social media following. And then right now we are needing to incentivize the buyers to pick, because now you're competing against new construction builders that are giving them $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in seller credits, whether that's a rate buy down, a 2-1 buy down, whatever that is. They are giving buy downs and buyer incentives so that you need to stand out. So this is also another crucial thing to help stand out with your listing, is by doing offering buyer incentives. And then of course you have our amazing marketing strategy that we specifically focus on, especially social media. I get all my listings from social media. I get all my sales from social media. I've sold dirt from $10,000 up to $4.5 million. I have listings at $12 million. I have listings at $250,000. I really work with people one on one. Really want to focus on what is their house specifically looking for, and then we tailor it to their needs as well. So, what does the market look like? We already talked about sellers. What is the market looking like here for buyers? And really, I guess sellers, if you think about it, going into 2025. So, home prices in the area are expected to rise only about a minimal amount of about 1.5 to 2% by the year's end. So nothing crazy, but it does give you a little bit of some hope that the market is turning around. And obviously, Zillow and Realtor.com, all of these big platforms are saying now is the time to buy, which they always are saying that because they are just, lead platforms and so forth. But honestly, coming from a new construction custom home builder, and then obviously I am a broker. So I am seeing this to where now we are starting to finally level off. So if this is a market that you guys are actually considering looking at buying in, now is actually a pretty decent time. I don't really tell people this because people were saying that 12 months ago or 6 months ago it's an amazing time to buy, but honestly, it was still going down. I go into the stock market, I look at the stock market, and this is, to me, is more of a consolidation period of what we're going through right now. So it could be a good time if you are having any inclination of buying. And then Northport in general, like I said, is going to be stabilizing here for the rest of 2025. And there may be some more opportunities, as we go past summer, because now people are buying. And so once we get into the holidays come the fall, this could be another buying season for people because sellers are like, hey, we're not getting showings, we're not getting any offers because everyone's off on holiday, Thanksgiving, Christmas. That's just what our real estate market does. It takes a dip in November and December for the holiday season. So could be another opportunity for you guys if you guys are on the sidelines. And so what it really comes down to is buyers, this is fantastic market for you right now. The interest rates have lowered just a little bit, and obviously the prices have come down significantly since when we were talking back in 2021. So that's fantastic news. With the inventory, you guys ultimately are sitting in the driver's seat. We're sitting in a buyer's market of over 6 months of inventory. So it is definitely the time for you guys to take a serious look at the Northport area. And really coming down to sellers, it's really just coming down to strategic pricing. It's coming down to getting eyeballs on your properties. It's coming down to getting showings. It's coming down to getting open houses for your property so that as many people that we can get through your house is the best thing, because more eyes leads to more offers is like what I like to say. Then for investors, I'm really looking at this as an appreciation play, not as a buy and flip play. Unless we're picking up properties for you at 40% of ARV, it's really tricky to make a flip profit in this market. Like I said, you just have to buy right, and that's why I really look at Northport as an appreciation market. So if you guys are or have been looking at buying a house here in Northport or Sarasota County, as you guys will see in my market reports, we do specialize in custom home building, new construction knowledge, and obviously, as I'm a real estate broker, we obviously work with people that are looking to buy and sell real estate as well for pre-existing houses. So we are a one-stop shop for every single person here. We have in-house lenders, stuff like that for our construction company. So it's fantastic that you guys don't have to really look elsewhere than us. And I'm just super transparent with everyone. I am here to kind of, whether or not you're looking at buying now or a couple years from now, it's always good to have a conversation to get the good juices flowing. So with all that being said, if you guys have questions, if you're a buyer, seller, investor, you guys can reach out to me and my team with our contact information down below. But stay tuned for our next market update, as this is a very fluid market. And go and be sure to check out our Venice and Sarasota new construction updates as well. But with all that being said, we'll catch you guys next week.